In this video, I will show you how to create a modern looking menu formed as an island. So when you scroll down the website, it also follows. You can also do it fully responsive, so it works fine on tablet and on mobile. My name is Kai and I own a web agency called Sensio, where we help companies grow their general revenue by implementing a professional website that converts the customers in a higher rate. So follow along this guide and see how this is possible. I have my developer site here, so this is one of the sites we use every time we have a client. So we boot this one up and then we start designing out of the functions we have already created in different sections. Here we can see we have a menu looking like this, where this is my company Sensio. Basically it's like an island menu, that's at least what we call it. Where we have the logo to the left, the menu in the middle and a button to the right. And when you scroll, it actually follows down the side, and then it also works pretty good in responsive mode. So if you just look at that, we can take it out here and see we can move it in. So you see it follows along and then it just goes in and boop, now it pops up to a menu and you actually have a call to action button with some kind of offer, and then you can keep on going in. Right now the menu comes over because I'm logged in, but yeah. I will show you how you create this menu from scratch. Basically, we can go to the back end here. I'll just move this one real quick. We will go to the back end. Then we want to go into templates. And here we can click on add new template. Here we want to create a new header. So we want to find the one called header. I'll just call this a video header because I'm creating a video. But you can call this main header. Normally I just call it menu or main menu so I know what it is. I'd never use these templates. So first of all, we want to create a section with columns. So this is designed with columns. Normally we always use containers. And the reason for that is because containers actually are way better. You can always put multiple containers inside. So here we want to create first a container that moves down, and we want to create some space. So I just put up my structure here. I want to go to advanced and create some space so I can see what I'm working on. So I'll put 100 pixels in height. In the beginning, we want to have everything in a bit smaller angle. We want 5% width on each side, 5% margins on each side. Actually, we will use padding for this. So I'll go in and use 5% padding. So that means everything inside of this section will have some padding on each side. And that follows down the design. So you can see actually it goes down to the footer we have here. And up here at you can see the striped lines. So inside of this, everything you put inside will always be inside of the grid we have created. When we move down, we can see it actually follows. So 5% here and actually 5% here. So that is pretty default in every website we create. It just looks more modern. It looks like there have been more thinking behind it. So here we want to give it a background. I'll just start out by making it gray so I can see what I'm working on. Actually, we want to create a new section inside. A new container. So we will just create a new container here, and then we will make this one some sort of color. Let's take blue for this example. And then we want to create a border, so the edges around. So now I'll just give this the name Island. And then this is like the menu, like the main menu. So this island is basically what is inside of the box. So here we want to click and make the borders. Maybe let's try 15. It's a bit too small. So maybe we'll put 25 pixels. Then we will just remove everything inside here so the default settings isn't involved. Then we want to create a logo, a menu, and also a button. So here, first of all, we'll go to, normally you can use the one called logo and you can pick site logo, but what we use is normally image because sometimes we can change this up. Basically, there's no really need to use the logo. We can always find the logo. We want to change it sometimes maybe. When it's winter, when it's New Year's, we change the logo up a little bit. So that's why we use image, because that's easier to change. Here I'll go into the backend and I'll just pick my logo icon. It looks like this. And now we want to pick the pixel size. We don't really like to use percentages when we want to pick the width. And then we have the auto width, the auto height. And then if you go into the width, maybe this would be maybe 200. Yeah, this looks okay. So now I want to create white background. We want this to be white, but we want to see what we're working on again. So I'll just create some, you can say some background so we can see what is actually going on in here. So now we want to put some space beneath and on top. So basically we can go into the island and we go percentages, top and bottom. I actually think islands is with an S, but I guess we'll just go with this, no matter. So now we can see we have a little bit like percentage pixels, height and bottom. So this looks a bit better, but we want this to be all the way left, but it's too far to the left now. So actually we need to have some more synergies, like it needs to be moved in a little bit. So maybe this would be maybe 2%, something like this. Actually, maybe we want 2% here as well. It could maybe 1.5, like that. Yeah, let's go with this for now. So now we want to maybe put a little shadow. So we want to go into the island and we want to pick a box shadow. Like this. When you pick the default box shadow, it's actually very hard to, it's actually very strong. So I normally want to go into the colors and just take it down a notch, like just a little bit. Let me move myself over here, just like this. And now we can go and remove all this noise we made in the background, also the color here. So now we can see there's actually going something on here, but we want the borders to be, the border radius to be a bit stronger. We want it to be complete rounded, just as I show you in the example here, where they are like complete rounded. So what we want is maybe use percentages and do like, I don't know, a very high number, like maybe 45. Actually, that did not work. Maybe we will put something like with pixels, just 45. I guess this might look okay. You can also put 50 maybe. This might also look fine. So now we have the logo. The logo should be a bit smaller actually, like this. Now we need the menu. So here we'll go to add element. We'll pick the menu. I'll just take the navigation menu here in this example. And then we have to go into the island again and make sure that it actually moves everything to the right. So the direction should be in the row, a horizontal, not vertical. So here we can pick the menu. Here I'll just go with the menu. Main menu, and then it just moves along. The reason it moves along here is because when we go to advanced, it's at default. You can also put it at inline if it doesn't work. Then it just says fill out whatever is inside. But we actually want it to be in the complete center. So this has to be in the center. In this example, you can also move it to the right. You basically decide. But first we want to put everything inside of everything we need inside here. So you put the button inside as well. So I'll just add a button as well. And let me see if I can hit it. I can't. There we go. Now the button is inside. And I want to design it a little bit. So make it a little bit prettier. So we will just go ahead and make the background invisible. So it will be something like, let me see, we'll go with the text color and we'll go with the border as well. And then the border color, and then we want to have the border radius complete rounded, maybe 1 pixel, maybe 2 is all right. And now we want to change the name. This could be your offer, so we just call this like, could also be contact. So we already have contact in our menu, but this will be like offer 1, for example. So now we have everything we want. Maybe we want to change this with a hover effect. So in the menu on the button, you can go inside hover. Now I want to change it to the background. It's like completely blue. So I'll just click here, pick the blue we have picked already. We want to go to the colors. Now it has to be white. So actually now it switches up. And if you want it to link somewhere, you can add the link here. You can also click on this mark and actually open a new window when you click on it. All right. But now we need to change it up so everything is in the middle. And the menu has to be in the middle and the button has to be the complete right. So what we can do here is we can go to the logo. We can go to the width and say the width has to be custom with percentages. And this has to be maybe, we can say 20. We can also say 10. But let's take 20 in this example. You'll go to the button as well. Go to the custom. Here we will also pick 20. But now we want the button to be float right. So you can go into the positioning and style and say now it has to be to the right. Now we go to the menu. This one is in the middle of these two now for sure. And there's always 100% inside of the container. So if I go in here and I go into custom and I pick the difference that is 60, now it's in the middle, but actually it's to the left. So what we want to do is go into the content, and then we can pick center, and now it's in the middle. So you see, now we actually have the island we are looking for. And of course we can design the menu a little bit more if we want, and also the drop down more if we want. But the structure is what we want. So let's just go over the drop down design really quick and make maybe a shadow or something on it so we can see what is going on here. Let me see, box shadow, there we go. So now we can see a little bit more. And again, I want to normally just take this down a notch, and maybe we'll put some round corners on this one as well. We'll still go 15, maybe 10 instead. I think 10 might have been less aggressive. Yeah, something like this. This is fine. So now we have a menu looking like this. And if we just scroll down, if we go into the responsive, we can see now it looks a bit different because we forgot to add everything inside of the island. Centered and centered. If we go back, we see now it actually works, but this one is a little bit too big. So if you remember on a front page, how the menu works is when you go down to tablet, you can see it actually moves along. So it actually goes down like this. So it actually makes a jump. So now we have a image we can click on that is a menu. And also we type menu, but you decide if you want that. And of course we have the offer. So if you go back here, we want to basically hide this menu. This is not relevant anymore. So we want to go into responsive inside of the menu and hide it. And then we can go up here and click on the eye so we don't get annoyed in seeing what is going on here. So now we want to have this one to like, instead of like 20%, this has to be like 50%. And the same with the offer. But now we want to actually do some different stuff because we want to add the image that is the menu, the burger menu. So I will go with the image here. I'll just add it inside here. So now you can see it at the menu. It has to all the way to the right. And then we will add the menu here. And we want to change the pixels again. So now it should maybe be like 35. I guess that's all right. And now you can decide to add text if you want. And so we'll just do that in this example. So we'll go with text, add it here. Make sure this does not have any H tag or anything. And I'll just call this with big menu. And then we'll just give it like a styling that looks something like this. Then we want to change how many pixels there is between these two things because we want the menu to be a little bit closer. So we want to actually add it inside of a container. To add a container here, always remember to remove margin and padding so there's not any air inside. And then we'll go to the image, move in to the header. That is the menu. We'll just call this menu. We'll call this also, it will be mobile menu. And then we can go with the float right. And everything has to be to the end. There we go. So now this works. We actually want to have the offer inside. So first we need to add 10 here to make sure that it is very close, okay? And also the text has to be completely black so it actually matches. And maybe in the island we want to add more than 1.5%. Maybe it would be better just to add 2. So that would be in the height, it has to be, let's say still 1.5. 1.5. There we go. But in the right and left, that should maybe be like 5% now. It might have been a little bit better. Now we have the menu to the right, but we still have the offer. And if you remember, we have the offer with the custom width. Actually, we want to add this one on top. So here we have this one. We want to change the width inside of the menu button to maybe, this should maybe like 10%. It could also be like 15. I think maybe 20 might have been better. Yeah, so now we have 20. So we have over here 50 and we have 20. So now we need to make sure that this is the difference. So we will go into the container and just pick custom. You can go with default as well. Then it just normally moves over. So that is pretty easily. Maybe we want to maybe change this one to maybe 3. This might look a little bit better. But here we have what we were looking for, but there's a little bit of space still, so we can actually go down a little bit, like something like this. So now it is basically what we are looking for. And of course, you can decide if you want the button or not, but we want to link the text to the menu and the icon here, the image to the menu as well. So there will be a big pop-up menu. So what we can do is we can go into, if you click on it, we can go into what is called link. And then we can link a URL, or in this case, we use Crocoblock's pop-up, for example. So we can go in advanced and click on Jet pop-up. And now here you can click on pick the pop-up. So that would be like menu here in our example, mobile menu. And then we can edit the pop-up. So I can also show you how to create this so you can find it. But basically this is how you connect these two things. So you go in the text again, click pop-up, and then click menu pop-up. There we go. And now we want to go to the mobile, and also we want to remove this mobile on the PC version, so you can't see it on the PC version. And on the mobile, it's not relevant to have the offer. Normally we'll put the offer at the footer instead, so it's down here on the mobile. So we'll also make sure that under responsive, we actually hide it. And I'll just click on the eye here to make sure that we cannot see it anymore. So now we have the logo that is 50%, so we can go again with the 50%. And now we have the container with the mobile menu. And of course, we need to change this one to center and center. And again here, center, center. There we go. So if we go into the mobile, we can see these two. This one is like 100%, so we'll change this one to 50. The reason this one does not jump on top is because right now under every section, every single container, there is an invisible gap by default. So if you click 0 here, now it actually comes in. But if I add some stuff, you can see it adds some space. And because it's 50%, there's no space to take. So I have to add maybe 48% instead if I don't change these settings. And here, of course, we want to change a little bit on the sizing of the logo. Here will maybe be like 100 pixels. And of course, we want to change how far there is between everything. So this might have been could be maybe 5. And not in the height. I think maybe bottom height should be 2. But yeah, now we have something that looks a bit cleaner. If we go out and just, of course, go to the main menu at the top and remove it here. Whoop, 0. We'll click 0 here, and also 0 here, and 0 here. Now it looks a bit weird because we have actually added a lot of stuff. So if you click published and want to edit container on entire site, we already have a menu. So I'll just go in and change the menu we already use. So I'll just go in and do that really quick here. Display, and we want to click 0, save. There we go. So if I click save here, now it should work. And now we will go into the front end again and see how does this new menu look. So it looks like this. The reason there is this big box and it doesn't follow along is because we have not made it a complete yet. We actually need to go into the main menu up here, the main container, go into motion effects. We go into sticky and pick sticky top. And what we can also do is go to layout and make sure that the background you see here actually just moves up, so it actually doesn't really use the menu height to anything. And we all want to add some invisible height up top as well. So we will actually go into the main menu up here and we will add some margins or some padding at the top. That could maybe be like 2%. That might be all right. And we also want to go into position and pick position absolute, so everything moves up. So now this one doesn't fill anything on the page. So if you click update and we go into the front page and update it, we see now we added some height, the 2%, and now it actually follows as well. So now we have the island that works. And this is how you create it. But we maybe, before we finish off, we want to create 1 pixel here and 1% instead. You can also use pixels in margin top if you want to use that. But this is how you create this menu. Next step would be, how do we even use this mobile? So let's see how it looks on the mobile. So we go down, we move it down, down and down and down, and now it pops in. as a menu, and if I click, you can see we get some kind of menu fill up here. But how do we get a menu like this and actually add stuff inside? So what we do is we go into the backend. We can go into the Crocoblock jet popup. Here we have the menu, but in this case, we'll just create a new one. So create new popup here. Normally, I'll just call this a video menu, the video sake. And then I also want to create, and this, I don't want to use any of these default stuff. So here we go. It loads up. Now it looks a bit weird like this. So first we will go into the settings of what we actually want to do. We want it to be faded in, or maybe slide in left or right. In this case, we want it to be faded in. In the styling, we want to have it 99 in set index, just to make sure that it's always on top of everything else on the site. In the width, we will pick 100% in the width. We could also go less, but we actually want it to be a full screen on mobile, so it's easier. And then we want the horizontal to be middle, middle, and middle. Next step would be the custom height. We also want the height to be 100%. But remember, this is only on tablet and on mobile, so we'll go down here and make the edit. Now we actually have something that looks like a menu we can work with, but we want it to stand out just a little bit in this case. So I'll just go ahead and style it. So I'll just make sure that the brand colors actually match what we have going on in our company. So let me make sure that this actually works. So we'll just go in here and just add a blue background, for example, and remove this one. And now we add the logo. And here we can use the logo, but we can also use an image. Normally, of course, I like to use images because we have the possibility of using multiple logos where we have different alt tags. So that is better for SEO. In this case, we'll use the white logo we have. We'll make sure that this one is maybe 120 pixels, a bit smaller, maybe 150. And then we will take the menu here again. I like to use the vertical menu from Crocoblock, because then the drop down just follow below. There's some issues sometimes with the Elementor menu. So basically it looks a bit like this. Actually, I think I picked the wrong menu. So if we go ahead and pick menu again, actually we'll go with this one. Here we go. We have this menu, this will be the main menu, and it has to be centered. We want it also to be centered, and we want it to be vertical. So now we can see we have the drop down to the right. We want the drop down to be beneath, and we should be able to do that inside of this one. So basically we can go and style it just a little bit. So that would be the color with like white. And then we have, this one has to be at the bottom, so the drop down placement at the bottom, something like this. And then if you go into the styling and actually pick the drop down, and the drop down should be the same color as the background, so it looks the same. But maybe we want to change the text. That could be like when you hover, the text maybe goes like not completely white, but it could be like just a little bit less, so you can see it's something happening. And also what you're on already, so the active one. So you can see now it works like this. But the normal one should be just completely white. So now we have a menu on mobile looking like this. And then of course we can change the sizing so it looks a bit better, a bit bigger. So we'll just go here and just find, maybe we'll pick maybe 20 instead. You can decide how far apart everything should be. This was like the 100%, I'm pretty sure. There we go. But here we have the menu. If you go down a notch again, we can see that actually drops in, and that because in the container we have set that, in the menu, and we go to the content, it has set that it has to drop. So we actually want to remove this one. And if you remove it, now it works again. And you can also add a button beneath if you want like the offer, so it stands out just a little bit. So that would be, we actually will go into the menu again and just copy the button we have created. That's easier to then create it again. So now we copied that button, and just make sure that we can see it and just change the styling. So now it should probably be white instead of blue, everything. And of course we want the default settings. So we would go with the custom and 100% maybe. And now this one should be in center, something like this. Boom. We can also make sure that when you hover over it, it looks a little bit better. So that would be, we just change this ones around. So this would be blue, and this one has to be blue as well. So now we have something looking a little bit like, and let me see. The background is blue, so it should probably have been white anyways. But you get my point. So now we have something that looks pretty good as a menu. We can click save. You can also go into the background settings inside of the module and go with Popup container and just pick the background. In our case, we actually made a background looking like this and make sure that it's centered and it's covered. So now we have something that looks a little bit better. Or you can see it actually didn't work on the tablet. So just make sure that we add that in and make sure that it's in the middle. There we go. This looks a little bit more clean, a little bit better. If you go down, you can see it actually also looks more modern. But on the mobile, maybe we want it to be like on the left side instead of in the middle. You can decide if you want that as well. Let me see if I even can do this. There we go. And this one has to be left. So now we have something like this. And there's some empty space here you can see. Of course, remember that now we have changed the background color. So we have to go inside. Again, the hover on the drop down and make it invisible actually. So we can just click on these, make sure that the background is invisible. So that won't be a problem. Oh, I can see that you actually have to have a background. So that's great. So there's not really any way around this with this menu. I think there's different menus you can use where this will not be a problem. But basically you get my point. Here we have the menu you can use, and there's some empty space here to the left. So we want to make sure that that isn't there. So we can go ahead. I'm pretty sure that it's in the padding. Yeah, it was in the padding. And then we want to maybe add some height and button. This looks great. So I'll just click save and publish. And if we go into the menu again and we go down, we actually want to change the menu here with the pop-up. It says mobile menu, but we want to pick the video menu. We just create it like this. There we go. And again, if we go into the jet pop-up again, and here we go. And then we save and we go to the front page and reload and go down and let's see how it looks in mobile. We can click on it. And it shows up like this. Right now we're logged in, but there is actually an X at the top right corner. So I can show you, whoopsie, now something happened. This is how the mobile looks on the PC version, but that is not an option. But basically, if we go into the pop-up again, we can see the X is up here. So we can go in the settings and actually style the X. So that is the close button. So we can go in here and maybe make this one white instead. So that would be the font color is white and the background color should be maybe invisible. So you can only see the X. And maybe we want the font, this one to be a little bit bigger and a little bit more out. So something like this. So that would be a menu looking like that. Mobile, it looks like this with the X, and then we publish. So this is how you create an island menu and on mobile and on PC, where it scrolls down and follows along responsive. Let me know if you liked the video and leave a thumbs up if you want me to continue making these Elementor Pro videos where we take it all the way from the beginner steps all the way up to advanced steps. We have also recently launched a community called the Performance Hub, where you can come in and learn how to build an agency the more efficient way and how to build websites for a bit more high-ticket clients if you're interested in doing that. Sometimes I jump in there myself and give you guys some free tips. You can also reach out to me if you need help with your own website or if you want me to help you and you guys improve your general revenue by improving your guys' conversion rate. See you guys next time.